Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Wednesday, June the 7th edition of our video devotionals. We appreciate you being with us today. Hope your Wednesday is going well. It is the middle part of the work week, and I'll say the school week, probably the last week for this summer. We'll say that. But at any rate, hopefully everybody's having a good Wednesday. We call it Winning Wednesday. As a reminder, each week we are winners. And you know what a winner is, an overcomer, and through the Lord Jesus Christ. So remind yourself of that. Then, of course, Wednesday evening church time for many folks. Attend if you're at all able to, and you'll get something from it, and you'll be an encouragement too. And on today, we've got weather-wise, it's overcast, a little light rain, but we can use it, and it's helping everything grow. Temperature still pretty cool for the first week of June. I think we're supposed to be about a high of 70 or so, but you know what? We'll take it. It's great. And one of these days, it's going to be a super hot spell coming, and we'll take that too. But otherwise, we'll let the Lord be in charge of the weather like He is anyway. All right, so of course, we read from our Today book. So today is the 7th. We don't have much to give you today. But it says in 1873, Moody and Sankey sailed for England. That's D.L. Moody and Ira Sankey. Ira Sankey was like his song leader. If you have a hymn book, and you'll notice, I think the word or the name Ira Sankey, you'll see that in what we call the credits, either to the song or to the music. Look for that name. Look for the last name Sankey, Sankey. Even Google it and do some research on that. Tremendous team for the Lord. It says in 1891, Spurgeon preached his last sermon in the Metropolitan Tabernacle in England. Of course, he was the great preacher. He was called the Prince of Preachers. And to this day, in fact, I think over here, maybe on one of my bookshelves, I have a collection of Spurgeon's, I guess you call it maybe devotions or commentaries on the Bible. I'm not sure if I have any here or not, but at any rate, I know he has, and that's been a cherished collection for many preachers. But at any rate, 1891 was his last sermon. All right, so we're going to stop there. Just as we read through the Today book, if you're new to this, then we read through the Bible in 1 year's time. Besides the studies I would do for sermons and all that sort of thing, but just generally read through the Bible, and that's about 3 to 4 chapters a day. Today, my reading has been from Nehemiah chapter 4 through verse 6. So we're going to give you something from Nehemiah 4 and one verse from chapter 6, so within that range. So the idea is to get something generally from those passages. Sometimes it might be a little before or maybe even after, just because of maybe a certain topic we may find. But for the most part, through the Bible, so what we get is generally from what we read each day. So that's where we're at today. So thank you for all who watch these. We really mean it. And if they're of any help to anybody, and people say they are, then we're glad, and that's the intention, right? I mean, why do this if it doesn't help? Why do this if somebody's not going to get something from the Lord? And that's certainly the intention. All right, so Nehemiah chapter 4, notice verses 7 through 15. Here's the setting. The wall is being built. There's opposition to this. Notice verse 7. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, then they were very wroth. That means they're very, very angry. They were already angry. Now they're getting angry because this project is actually going on and it's happening. Verse 8, and conspired all of them together to come and to fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. Nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God and set a watch against them day and night because of them. Verse 10, and Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. And our adversaries said, they shall not know neither see till we come in the midst among them and slay them. We're talking about literally bodily killing these folks and cause the work to cease. And it came to pass that when the Jews which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, from all places whence ye shall return unto us, they will be upon you. Therefore said I in the lower places behind the wall, and on the higher places I even set the people after their families with their swords, their spears, and their bows. Verse 14, and I looked and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. Remember the Lord, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses. Notice verse 15, and it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and God had brought their counsel to naught, that we returned all of us to the wall, every one unto his work. And of course, that wall is going to get completed. Let's stop here, and then I'll go to chapter 6, verse number 16. The idea behind this is that, when there's the work of God is going on, there's always going to be opposition. That's always the case. Always will be. I will say this: if you listen to this video, you attend a church where the Bible is the authority. You've got a man of God, not just simply someone who holds the title pastor. And everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say that. There's a difference between someone who can hold the title and someone who's a man of God. If you have a man of God, then you're going to have people that will oppose him because of his position, because of his what he believes about the Bible and his preaching. So that's always the case. That's not really unique at all. So there's going to be opposition. There's always going to be things going on. I will say this: for the most part, many preachers, most men of God certainly don't disclose all the things that they could, all the things that they know when it comes to the opposition, the fight against the work of God. And that's, they just don't want to burden you with it. And it's not the main thing. The main thing is carrying out the gospel and going forward, and the Lord will build his church. But to say, there's no opposition when right is trying to go forward, that's just not the case. So in this case, you see that the opposition was willing even to kill the people. They had this little scheme going: we're going to come in, we'll sneak in, and we'll take care of them. But I like what it says in verse 15. Here's the practical side of this for us today. And it came to pass when our enemies heard that it was known unto us, and God had brought their counsel to naught. That means, God was involved, and God was the principal one who says, okay, I hear what you're trying to do here, but I'm going to make it manifest, and I'm going to intervene. And that's exactly what we have to depend upon. I do believe that God brings things to our attention that we don't necessarily even look for. And God says, I know what's going on, and I'm going to bring it to naught. And I'm so glad that God does this. If this is the work of God that we're involved in, then let's just depend upon God like we would anything. And because one, it probably maybe would scare us or maybe discourage us more if we knew all that we could know. And yet at the same time, what we do know could be discouraging. It was discouraging. But you know what? They said, we're going to go forward. And God protected them. Notice what it says here in verse 16 of chapter 6. It says, and it came to pass that when all our enemies heard thereof, and all the heathen that were about us saw these things, they were much cast down in their own eyes, for they perceived that this work was wrought of our God. There's the thing. When even our enemies look back and say, it's almost like we can't help but explain it. God's done something here. How in the world could anybody that claims to be a child of God will fight against the work of God, fight against the people of God, fight against the man of God, and even realize that God is the one who's protecting, God is the one who's forwarding the work, and yet people would still fight against. I guess that's hard for me to comprehend if indeed someone even knows God. But I know this: at the end of the day, it's about God. God says, I'll bring their counsel to naught, this plan. I know what's going on, and God made sure that it didn't come to fruition. And then when the enemies see that the wall was finished, in fact, in verse 15 it says, so the wall was finished in the 25th day of the month Elul in 52 days. Then the Bible says they were much cast down. They were very disappointed, but they realized that God had wrought in this work here. So that's important, and you need to depend upon that as well as I. So I hope you have a great day. Attend your Wednesday evening Bible study or sermon or revival, whatever event's going on, if you possibly can. Be there to encourage the ones that are there. Be there to get something for yourself. And that's just part of the building process when people are being built. And we need to be a part of that. So have a great day. Be safe. Be healthy. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow in what we call Trusting Thursday. Have a great day.